Hello everybody and welcome to Screenwriting with Final Draft, the Masterclass. Here we are, week 2, Beatboard to outline and script. So thanks again for joining us, and just in case if you don't know, it's a 4-week course. So we call these a masterclass, and you can access week 1. If you've missed it, you have the link. You can access week 1, and here we are with week 2. So feel free to rewatch week 1, and you can kind of refresh as well. So if you've gone over it and you have questions, I'll put up my email as well at the end. So we're going to keep this as a conversation. So it's really exciting to be able to do this. And this week we're going to look at what we did last week, from the beat board to creating an outline, and then also converting it to a script and to start that process. So it's a lot of stuff to cover. So let's get started. So I just want to thank all our partners in this project. So we have the Canada Council for the Arts. Then we have our library partners. So we have the Blue Mountains Public Library, we have the Collingwood Public Library, and the Wasaga Beach Public Library. So again, you can access Final Draft, this whole software, Final Draft 11 or 12, based on the computers, are available at our digital arts computer stations. And these are available at each of the libraries. So there's 2 in each library. You can go in there, book time, and write your scripts right there. And what we're going to do too is, by the time we finish this masterclass, we're going to introduce the fact that you can write different scripts and use it for different things. So, sometimes we think, okay, screenplay, it's just for film or video, but it can be used for creating an audio podcast. It can be used even for writing a novel. So that's the great thing about Final Draft. It lets you do a whole bunch of different things, and think of it as this great database of characters, scenes, you being able to use these beat boards. We're going to look at index cards today as well. So a lot of great resources. It's this really nice, tidy piece of software where you can put all your thoughts. Because when you're writing in the creative process, there's so much stuff in your head. And you'll notice even when I'm talking about different ideas, there's a lot of stuff coming out in the thought process. And it is great to be able to put these down somewhere, save it. It's a nice small file. You save it, you open it up, and then you can keep working and kind of unwrap what's in your head and the story onto paper, or in this case onto digital paper. And that's the great thing about what we're showcasing. It's not just about sitting down and writing the script, that kind of technical format thing. We really want to encourage you to think about the story and this ongoing process of, what is the story I'm trying to tell? And you want to spend the time as much as you can going through this process, whether it's the beat boards that we're talking about currently. We're going to introduce index cards, writing a treatment. So these kind of pre-script things are really important, just like it is for film. Pre-production is really important. If you just go out there and hope for the best, it's not going to work out so well. So same idea, you need to find out locations, cast, equipment. Same thing with screenwriting. You really need to think about what the story is that you want to tell and how you're going to tell it. So that's really, really important. So let's look at what today we're going to look at adding the beat board to the outline. It's really simple. We're just dragging the beat boards into the outline. Then we're going to look at how we create a script from that outline. And again, really simple process, and then that gets us going into the script. And we're going to look at the index card mode, another way that we can pre-plan and organize ourselves. And we're going to look at what's called a treatment as well. And that's another format of writing, which is, it's almost like writing a short story, and that's a great way to start a script as well. So just like with everything in digital arts, there's always many ways to do things. Some people just sit down, they start writing in the screenplay format, and that's great. Some people like to really, kind of put their cards on the table and think about what the story is and move it around and work that way. It's that kind of pre-planning. Again, whatever works is great. And again, I'm just showcasing these different ideas, different ways to wrap our heads around, sharing these stories and this creative process. So there isn't really a right or wrong answer. You don't have to create beat boards. You don't have to do any of this. You can just maybe sit down and write a script if you want as well. Some people just do that. And we will get to that whole script formatting and writing process as well. But this is, again, something that maybe is even worth trying as an exercise. I haven't done a lot of work on beat boards personally myself, but it's a great tool. And as I'm, seeing this feature, I think it's a great tool that can be used for my screenwriting as well. So, this is the thing. There's new features and new tools, and sometimes they're really worth exploring and just seeing how they might work for you as well. So that's what we're going to look at, the index cards, after we look at the beat board and the treatment, and then we'll go right into some of the, what is a treatment? We're going to identify that as well. So let's get right into Final Draft. So I'm just going to exit out of this presentation here, and we're going to go right into the Final Draft software, which I'm just going to go here. So this is a Final Draft full screen. So this is, right now we're in the Beatboard mode. And, so under views, we can go to different things. So we can go to script, which is just, there's nothing there right now because we haven't worked on a script. And under Beatboard, it shows me all of this. And this is great because this gives me, all the stuff that we've put together, like an opener. We put a little bit of prologue information, and Act 1, Act 1, Beat 2. So we're really thinking of these beats. What does this mean? A title sequence. So you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff in this, and it doesn't really necessarily make sense. But this is where we start to look at what can we do. So up here in the top corner, I'm going to try and zoom in on it over here, but there's something that says outline, and I apologize, it's kind of small, but it's really on the top here. It says outline 1, outline 2, and then there's a button that goes into the script. And this is kind of the whole beauty of this. So let me just I'm going to try to make this a little bit just bigger within the screen. See if that kind of helps a little bit more. And again, so just zooming in here. So this is our outline 1, outline 2. And so then what we can do is we can figure out, okay, what do we want to do? So we talked about, I really like this opener, and I'm going to call this, I might go like red just so I really know that's like my opener. It's different than everything else. So then what we do is we go over here and we bring it up here. And then we can say how long it is, like kind of page-wise. You can see as I'm stretching it out, which is really cool. So I'm going to just move this over here right to the beginning, the opener. So the goal, 1 to 1.5 pages is kind of my opener. And I want that to be like nice, snappy, quick kind of opening when I'm considering how this is gonna play, how it's gonna read and so on. And then this one, the title sequence, this is something I want to put next. And you can see, it's right about there. And I'm just gonna, again, move this to over here. And you can see now, so I got my opener, title sequence, and I'm starting to organize my film and my script based on putting the things on the top here. And we'll see once we make this into a script, and then it just becomes that. It starts to put itself into a script. And you can see again the goal, page 1.5 to about 2 1/8. And again, we can make this bigger, smaller. I can say, okay, I want the opener to be a bit longer, 1 3/4 of a page, right? And so you can see these are like the pages down here. We're representing ourselves. So you really can kind of figure out, how long does your film want to be? So, I can say, okay, we'll have it as, 1 to 2 pages, and then the title sequence like that. Okay, and then I want to get into this one. So I'm going to put this is going to be a really nice, big, long scene as she, arrives and that kind of idea. So that's my beat 1, right? So that kind of keeps us going there. And then I got my beat 2. And again, this isn't, I'm not going to necessarily look at, what the whole script is in terms of its structure yet, but we just want to look at this kind of technical thing of what we can do with this. Okay, and then we want our number 3. That up here. Okay, and I think I'm going to put a bit of this prologue in here somewhere. And this is something that, we played with, but I think it's of interest to have this kind of a flashback to show, what's kind of happened at some point. That's great. Then we're going to do something with Act 2. You can see I just keep bringing all these things up here, and I can just kind of stretch them out to where I want them to exist roughly. That's great. So I'm just zooming here a little bit just for demonstration purposes, so we can just get an idea. So we're going to look at this as probably like kind of a 1 hour script. Let's say it's about 60 pages, somewhere around there. and put Act 3. That's great. I can kind of, zoom in or out of it, and you start to see kind of how it's structured, which is really cool. Right? So that's taking our beat board and making it into an outline. And I think that's a really cool process. It's so easy. We're just dragging this stuff up there, putting it into the outline. Then we can move those around. And it's just as easy to do that as well. So I can, I can take these, I can put them in outline 2, and Command Z if I want to undo it. But you can see I can put Act 2, maybe I go, hey, you know what, that's going to become part of Act 3. And that can move around, and that's what it is. It's all just these blocks moving around, and this is great. So this is like if you really want to pre-plan your script before you get into the juicy writing part of it. What a fantastic way to be able to do that, is just to make it work that way and go in that method, right? So that you can move things around and go from there. So so that's kind of how that works. And let's put another couple beats here. I think we still need some Act 3. Resolution. The great uncle is exposed. The mansion is handed over to Susie. She will sell assets to. She begins a charity in the spirit of her great aunt's original intention. So the script kind of turning, it's sounding more and more kind of like a kind of maybe like a TV series, and I like that idea. So we'll put this up here, put our resolution. And that could be a big chunk of it. So we'll go about 45 minutes. So TV series is usually about 44 pages or so. So that kind of gives us a 1 hour TV series is a great idea. And here we go, auto save. So I'm just going to hit yes, let's save. That's a great prompt that comes up. So you want to just keep saving as we go. Okay, so we've created this beatboard, and right now there's nothing there, right? So I go to scene view, and all I have is a beatboard, and I go to the script, and still nothing in the script. And here's the great part. So now from here, I can say, hey, let's make this a script. So now, when I go to the script, I have everything. My beatboard is written out as a script. So it just kind of brought it down. And then I can start working on it from there, which is really great. So again, one way to do it. Some people put in outline with with the whole like scene identifications, and you can be way more detailed. So again, many different ways to do it, but this is one way. So we've done our you do the beatboard, put it into the outline, and then have the outline drop it down into the script, and then you can start writing it in the script format and working that way. So we're going to get into that script formatting stuff next week, but for this week we're still looking at how that kind of pre-production, that pre-process stuff. How do we work with that, and how do we get something like that going? So that's kind of the great process of being able to get things going in that way and in that manner, and figuring out what we're gonna be able to do, in terms of the whole structure of it, the outline, and going from there. So just trying to find a couple samples here of something. So this is the yeah, this is great. Okay, so let's figure out what next. What do we do next? And yeah, here's some interesting ones. So in terms of, so we've done the outline and we've brought it down into the script, and we've made it into that kind of a format, and then so we have it into our script. So again, just in terms of how does this work, we go over here, change the views, right? So I can go back to the beatboard. There's our beatboard, right? And then just under views, I go to script, and then there's like page view, there's speed view, and so on. So just normal views, what I usually just like to work in, and we can go from there. So now here's the other thing. So in terms of what we can do too is we can do these, we can go to index cards. For a script as well. Okay, so here again, so we can just click on these, we'll see all our beats, and it's kind of it stays on top, which is really great. And it lets us keep going in that manner. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back, and we're going to just create, I'm going to save this, and we're going to just create a new script. And I'm just going to show you guys how to work with the index cards. So here's a brand new script. So you can see you can have multiple scripts open. You can be working on multiple things at the same time. So it doesn't really limit that. I'm going to save as, and I'm just going to call this the summer picnic script draft 1. Just call it something. That's what we're starting with. Okay, so now in terms of what we can also do is we can go to index cards, and this is what the index cards do. So this mode, unlike the beatboards, this is kind of that traditional concept of where you see these index cards. So that whole idea of using like kitchen recipe index cards and putting them all around your floor or on your walls or taping them around onto walls. This is a great way to achieve the same idea, but without having to use index cards. So it's a lot more of a green technology, if you will, too. So that's the nice thing about if you're putting everything in like a screenwriting software, you're reducing your paper use as well, right? So opening scene, and again, so then here we just write the scene, right? And then you can just keep adding, the different opening scene, scene 2, picnic is prepared, right? And then so in here you can see, so we got like our script, right? And then you can keep going from there. So here's the index cards, go to our script, and here's this mode, right? So once you start typing in here like this, you can then see it in the index cards, and this gives you kind of the outline of what's happening. So it's another way to totally work versus, so you got the scenes, title, opening scene, so on, right? So this is how we can work as well. So we can go from scripts, opening scene, and so on, and go into the index cards and work in that way as well. But again, so the Beatboard is quite a really nice visual tool to move things around and go into the outline, and the index cards just let you see your script as it's happening as well. So I just wanted to kind of outline that because there were some questions on that. What is the difference? And I think the Beatboard is kind of like what we might think of index cards, versus the index cards are representing what you're writing within the script. Perfect. So now in terms of so we got our index cards, we have our Beatboard, right? So back to this one with our Beatboard. I just click on that and we can go into that. So now the next thing is, what is a treatment? And I think, this is a big question always, like, what is a treatment? Why should I be writing a treatment, and so on. So the Beatboard, the whole idea is we've been kind of, been writing these ideas, just putting these cards down, and they're kind of thoughts and beats and moments, and it's not necessarily a perfect structure yet. And that's where we get into the finer details of writing the script. But I think that's a big part of the story writing, is getting your thoughts. And we talked about it last week in week one, the personal stories, writing about what you know, write what you know. It's going to come out really smoothly, really fluidly, organically. You're not going to have to force anything. So start that. The other thing is start smaller. So, write the 4 or 5 page script and go through a 3-act structure over 5 pages, and, develop the characters and make, work on an amazing 5 pages versus trying to make 500 pages or some massive TV series or a 100-page script for your first script. So start with something that's reasonable, manageable, and you can work in that manner. So start small and go from there. The treatment is the same idea. So the treatment represents the whole film in a paragraph format. So let me just pull up a slide on that. Right. So what exactly is the treatment? And so I put some points and thoughts on what I think of the treatment. So the treatment, it's another method for outlining your script, right? And the idea is that you're representing a screenplay, but this time it's really without the dialogue, right? So it's representing the script or the screenplay without the dialogue, and generally ranges from about 1 to 10 pages in length, and it's really an outline in paragraph form. So I like to think of the treatment as it's like a short story. So if when you read a short story, it's written in that kind of way where it's like a short story written kind of like a novel, but again without dialogue. So it's just what do the characters do? What do they talk about without their specific dialogue? What is the action moving the plot forward? And each paragraph then starts to represent the different beats or major segments of the script, right? So you get into the whole idea of that it can still be 3 acts, you have your characters, your plot structure, but the paragraphs start to represent the beats or major segments of the script. And that's the really nice way. And so again, what you want to do, and this is the guiding principle for screenwriting, is we always say show, don't tell, right? So you're describing everything visually to convey what the story is about. So we don't want to tell someone like, okay, this is a high tension moment. You're telling them, no, show that it's a high tension moment with, there's a ticking clock with a countdown. There's a train coming towards a stuck car, and that's that ticking bomb, they call it, as a device that there's trains barreling down the railways. There's a car stuck on the crossing. They're trying to get it started, push it away, right? It's like the old kind of screwball comedy concept. They're trying to get it across the tracks, right? But that's creating the tension visually, the way I'm describing it. I'm not saying this will be a high tension scene, and you will feel it. Like, I'm not trying to tell you, right? I'm showing you that there is that high intensity by describing that scene. Right, so that's really the idea. So the treatment, again, going back to that, that's the idea, is that we're describing what you'll see in the film, how it's going to be, and how it unfolds, and then the person reading it is going to get a sense of it visually and interpret those visuals into the film. So the real essence, and I think this goes with generally with filmmaking, is you're trying to keep the audience thinking. And the more spoon-fed it is, it could be really, it could be almost annoying to see something that's really spoon-fed to you. You want the medium of film and filmmaking really wants and craves for the audience to be paying attention and to be discovering things with the story. And it's just like a good book. if it tells you, what you should be feeling, and it really starts to bring it down to such a basic level. And the human mind and what we can do with it is quite amazing. So, and we want people to keep thinking. And so that's kind of the essence of the treatment, and then how we can do that and how we make that work. So you want to keep your audience thinking. But so again, so the treatment is going to represent what that whole script is going to be. So it's another way of doing the beatboard idea. So just like I wrote like blurbs in there, that would be the same idea. I could just write those paragraphs about, those different beats, make those into paragraphs. So I essentially wrote a treatment in the beatboard with like notes, but it was kind of more point form. So in the treatment, you're writing more of a formal kind of paragraph outline. You might write some of your characters and things like that. So, let's have a look. I pulled up some, some samples here of some treatment ideas. And so here's something like this. So let me just kind of zoom in here a little bit. Okay, so here's here's like a film treatment, something like this. So if we have the film treatment, and so it's through her eyes, working title, different characters. Then here's a synopsis. Just a quick synopsis. What's the story going to be about? Then we go into Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and you can see it's just paragraphs. So that's really the cool thing about it, and that's it, the end, right? So this has like a 5-act structure. Sure, why not, right? And that's totally fine to do. And then how do we do that here? So again, let's look at a new. I'm going to go new from template, and so script, instead of a script, you can see there's a screenplay, there's a beatboard for outline, and there's a stage play, screenplay, outline, right? So let's look at the outline, and let's do a new outline. Right, so here's outline 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it's just giving us kind of that whole idea. So now let's how do we just do a treatment? So let's go new, and let me just go here, normal view. Let's get out of this. Right, so we can just go like general, outline, and we would just type it in, right? So you can just use this totally as like a word type, word processing, right? So let's just go back here. Index cards for outline. So let's just go here, new index cards. I want to show some of these features. So here's all the index cards kind of preset, right? And you can just put all the scene headings, and then from there we can go into the script. And all of those will show up in the script, right? So that's another way to do it. So I'm not going to save that, and I'm not going to save this one. Okay, and new from template. Let's just look at this again. So then there's so let's go back here to the scripts. And the beatboard. I just want to see some of these early templates. Let's have a look here. So here's the beatboard. Kind of gives you these templates, so you can just go in this. And this is the cool thing to say. We can put images in here, and that's something I wanted to mention too. So we can put in images to try to understand better what we can achieve in the visual. So why not use the beatboard? You can put some visuals into the script, and and then that way you can visually showcase what you want to do in the overall script, right? So you can have notations, you can put in photos of the specific locations you're thinking of, or styles of it. Even just going online, finding images and saying, hey, I'm thinking, there's the spooky mansion. What does it look like? So I can start to give people, give yourself even a sense of visuals to bring this script to life and what it's going to look like, what it's going to mean, right? So that works really well. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm just going to go into again, just a new from template. I'm just going to go to go to another screenplay, like so. Okay, so what I can do, instead of scene heading, I can just go general. The summer picnic, right? And I can just stay in general mode, and we'll understand what this means more. So, outline, body, so on. So I can just say, so general just lets me keep typing. So scene heading action, we don't want any of that. So I just want to, at first, there was a picnic table, or there, I should say there is, so we'll just go present tense. There is a large picnic table on the far south side of a park, right? And so I could just keep writing that, right? So again, we saw that treatment concept. You can have some information about your characters. Just say, okay, there's these 5 characters. This is what they're doing, and so on. So for a treatment, you just keep writing these paragraphs of what's happening, describing things. A boy named George brings a large picnic basket and places it on top of the table. So I'm purely writing this like I would a novel. And I think that's really the key thing of what a treatment is it's just like a novelization of the script. So there's no talking. I'm not doing any kind of dialogue. George tells his sister Beth to bring the weights for the tablecloth, right? So again, no dialogue, just like George tells his sister this, right? And we kind of keep going. Summarizations, really brush strokes of it. So this could be, many pages in the script. This could maybe take 3 or 4 pages just to develop those few lines. And that's another way. So you can see it's very, very similar to what we were doing before, which is the Beatboard, right? So when you look at this, Susie, our hero niece, is eating dinner. A ghost walks by. She turns. The ghost flips her sushi takeout off the table. There's a huge mess, right? So very similar idea, same concept, and as that kind of treatment thing. But personally, this Beatboard idea, I can visually represent more of what I'm thinking in my head, versus the treatment it gets a little bit tough because it's just those paragraphs and it doesn't give me this nice visual format and presentation. So that's what I really love about this Beatboard idea, is that I can start to visualize everything. I can then take those beats and then put it into so I'm going to put summer picnic. It's just asking me to do a save. Summer picnic treatment, save, great. Okay, and so visually it's letting me do all this, and what a great way to be able to put it all in this outline, and then I can just go to the script and then I have it all already written, so I don't have to rewrite it. And then here, I just fill this all in and just fill it all in into the proper script format. What is the proper script format? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into next week. And you've probably seen it before. We have the scene headings, characters, interior, so scene heading, interior, exterior, so on. And this software will let us do that whole formatting just as we type and hitting like tab and so on. So that's what we're going to get to next week. So for now, I encourage everyone to look at if you've done the Beatboard, put it into the outline, get the script out that way, and just kind of get it ready to write. Otherwise, why not try writing that treatment? I think it's a great exercise and still, another way to prepare a script. Sit down, put your thoughts down, and you can use any kind of word processing, right? So like a Word or Notepad, even just writing it out on a paper and just, paragraph forms. So try writing that out. Think of, at a minimum, looking at writing 3 paragraphs to represent acts 1, 2, and 3, write that out, introduce your characters, introduce the story, and you might find that that works really well for you. You might also find that, going to the Beatboard idea, um, works really well, that kind of concept. And again, you could do this anywhere, visually and so on. But in Final Draft, we can go right into this Beatboard mode and make that all link. And it's all intuitively in there in the different modes. We go Beatboard to outline into the script, and then we can just start writing our script. So that would be the essentially the process of what we do to make this all work. So yeah, that's basically what we wanted to cover and showcase this week. I really would again encourage everyone to try the treatment. I think it's a really great exercise in developing just that idea, because you might find that sometimes I've worked with writers in the past where they write a treatment and it ends up being quite a nice short story. And you might say, hey, you know what? You have a short story out of it too, and that can become the whole script. And then again, a script format, it's very hard to necessarily read, and we'll see that next week when we get into the script format. For general population seeing a script format, they may be a little bit confused. What is this, right? But it's really designed to help the filmmaking process, and we'll look at why, what it means, and how that works. But writing the treatment, it really helps you get in between where you might want to write a whole short story out of it, and you might want to go that way. Now, so on that note, let's look up here too. So just before, because next week we're going to get just into scripts and so on. So here text, we can go text outline. Here we go right into the treatment. There is this treatment mode as well, directly in text. So this is where we can do Mary May by Amy Screenwriter. And you can see here, they give you a little sample of exactly what it is, a template of a treatment. So that's where we would find that, directly under text. So I'm kind of torn on, the best workflow of that. If you go to the text template, open the treatment, that's great. Sometimes I like working on the, like what I was showing you in the general, typing out there, because I'm already in the screenplay format. And I know you can convert things, but I like just even writing the treatment in there, because then you can just kind of take that treatment and then make it into the script directly out of it. So that's kind of in the past, that's how I found it would always work. But why not just go into the text mode, open up the treatment. What else can we do in the template? So under the text mode again, we can go to a novel. And here's a novel, chapter 1, and you just write. So again, you can see the Final Draft software here. We're not just, it's not just for screenwriting, for film. You can write novels, you can write that treatment, and that treatment can be used then for a novel. The treatment can be used for audio podcasts, right? So it's multidisciplinary in terms of the types of digital arts that we can cover with these, and how they can be covered. So again, so that's the untitled novel, and here's the treatment format. And then there you can see who it's by, and just paragraphs. So let's just look at kind of their sample here. So inside a house, we see a photo of a loving family. In background, we can hear the sound of a children's party in progress. Into the party steps Seamus, a tall, good-looking man in his mid-30s. The family makes a fuss of him. The kids sit on his lap and kiss him. He's a popular and familiar guy. The father of the family takes Seamus to one side. A little later, one of the little kids looks out the window, watches as her father is gunned down by Seamus. Really intense, right? But again, you can see there's no dialogue, just describing what we see and as it unfolds. So that's a really intense opener, right? So that would just be the paragraph format. So you can see that's the style. So this is a great template. So you can just open it up and get a good sense of what the what the treatment would be in terms of the film treatment format. And again, it's not limited to just screenwriting. So again, audio podcasts you might want to make a treatment for if it's dramatized. For a documentary, you can write a treatment. How are you going to approach the structure of the film? And then why not even use this kind of software? You can make the novel, write a manuscript. There's a graphic novel template, so really multi-use. So again, please review this, go through, write a short treatment. I encourage you, 3 paragraphs. Try to just do like a super short 3 paragraphs, acts 1, 2, 3, introduce your characters, climax, resolution, and try that out. It can just be like one page, and it's a great exercise to do. So that'll be what I assign you as your exercise for this week until next week. So next week we will get right into the screenwriting format, taking our Beatboard, we've put it into the script, and then we're going to start writing the script in our screenwriting format. And then beyond that, we're also going to look at how this software works on the iPad. So how we can use the Final Draft mobile version for iPads, and we'll hook that up to showcase the tools in that, because it's a little bit different, and that's where we're going to take us on this journey. So again, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I'm just going to put up my email in terms of getting in touch with me. So let me just put this screen up here, and so you can definitely get in touch with me. Tom@tbmcs.ca, that's my direct email. Send me questions, send me your treatments. Love to read what you're working on, your thoughts, and we can problem solve things. If there's any technical questions, you're having issues, if you're looking, if you've put Final Draft on your computer, you're having issues with that, or on your iPad, and you have any tech questions, please ask me. And I do want to remind everyone that you can access the digital arts computers at all of our 3 library partners loaded with Final Draft, so you can go there and write and check out the software right there. So you don't have to buy anything, you can just go right there and check it out. We encourage you to do that and use that resource. So again, this has been week 2, Beatboard to outline and script. How do we get that all going? Next week, we'll get into the script formatting and writing our whole screenplay and proper screenplay format, I will call it. So once again, thanks to all our partners for making this project happen. We have the Canada Council for the Arts, and then we have our library partners, the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, and the Wasaga Beach Public Library. Thanks again for joining me, and I will see you guys next week for week 3 of Screenwriting with Final Draft Masterclass. All the best, and have a great rest of the day. Take care.